December 1942, Nazi-occupied France. In the estuary of the Gironde River, German supply ships move freely in and out of the port of Bordeaux, carrying vital war materials that keep Hitler's war machine running. The Allies know it, and they know they have to stop it. What follows is one of the most daring and heartbreaking commando raids in the history of the Second World War. 10 men, 5 canoes, a mission that should have been impossible. This is Operation Frankton. Bordeaux. On the Atlantic coast of France, it is more than a city. In 1942, it is a lifeline. Every week, German blockade runners slip up the Gironde estuary, past sandbanks and watchful patrols, carrying what Hitler's war machine cannot survive without: rubber from Indochina, tin from Malaya, oil and quinine from across the globe. These are not luxuries. They are the sinews of tanks, aircraft and U-boats. Lose them, and the Reich begins to starve. The port itself is built for giants: deep water, long quays, and a maze of docks hidden far inland, shielded by miles of river and marsh. At night, the ships come in, blacked out, hugging the tidal currents. By day, German guards and searchlights sweep the wharves. The Luftwaffe has ringed the city with anti-aircraft guns. The Kriegsmarine has mined the approaches. Bordeaux is designed to be untouchable. Allied planners study the maps. They know the usual weapons, including bombers, destroyers and submarines, cannot reach the heart of the port without killing hundreds of French civilians or losing entire squadrons to German guns. Every attempt so far has failed. The blockade runners keep coming. The raw materials keep flowing east. In London, combined operations weighs the cost. Every ton of rubber unloaded at Bordeaux means more tires for panzer tanks rolling through Russia, more seals for U-boat engines hunting Allied convoys. Each shipment that slips through is another month of war, another convoy sunk in the Atlantic. Churchill wants results. Mountbatten wants a plan. The answer will not be found in brute force. It will come from a handful of men, moving in silence, striking where the enemy feels safe. 10 men, 5 canoes. The odds are impossible, but the need is greater. If Bordeaux can be cut off, even for a few weeks, it will send shockwaves through the German supply chain. The port is the artery. The mission is to sever it. The clock is ticking. The war waits for no one. The idea arrives not with a bang, but as a quiet spark in the mind of Major Herbert "Blondie" Hassler. He is 33, a Royal Marine officer with a reputation for restless invention and a taste for the improbable. In the autumn of 1942, Hassler studies the maps of Bordeaux and the Gironde, the tides, the patrol schedules, the reach of German spotlights. He sketches a plan that no one in Whitehall expects: deliver a handful of men by submarine, set them loose in collapsible 2-man canoes, and send them paddling 70 miles upriver to strike at ships no bomber or destroyer can touch. Not a raid of hundreds, but of 10. Not a fleet, but 5 cockleshell canoes. The odds are almost meaningless. Hassler's proposal travels up the chain, first to combined operations, then to the desk of Lord Louis Mountbatten. Mountbatten, himself no stranger to risk, sees the logic in Hassler's audacity. The usual methods have failed. The port is untouchable by air, too well defended by sea. Only a silent strike by men willing to vanish into darkness and cold offers even a slim hope. In October, the plan is approved. Hassler is given authority to recruit and train his team. He combs the ranks for men with the right mix of toughness and nerve, men who can paddle for hours, keep silent, and face the near certainty of death or capture. The Royal Marines Boom Patrol Detachment is born, an experiment in small-scale sabotage, its existence barely whispered outside a handful of offices. The operation is codenamed Frankton. Its goals are clear: cripple German shipping, disrupt the flow of vital materials, and force the enemy to guard every harbor as if it might be next. The war planners estimate, perhaps with more hope than evidence, that a successful strike could shorten the war by months. Hasler cares less for speculation. He wants a plan that works. He drills his men in Scottish waters, testing them against cold, exhaustion, and fear. 10 men, 5 canoes. The mission is set. Authorization comes from the top, but the burden falls on Hasler's shoulders. He accepts it without hesitation, knowing what the cost may be. 10 men, 5 canoes, each one a volunteer, each one knowing the odds. Hasler chooses them not for rank or medals, but for grit, the kind that endures cold, silence, and the long shadow of failure. First, Hasler himself, born in London, son of a civil servant, restless even as a young officer. He has served on the Hindustan, learned to trust the sea, and now he trusts only a handful of men. Bill Sparks is a shipyard apprentice from Liverpool. He is Hasler's partner, steady, strong, and quick with a smile that hides nerves of steel. Sparks has written to his mother, promising to do his part for the free world. He means every word. Corporal Albert Lover comes from Birmingham, a factory worker turned Royal Marine. He is known for endurance, for swimming farther and harder than anyone else. William Mills, a coal miner from Glasgow, joins for Scotland, for family, for a chance to matter. Tom Clark, the son of a farmer from Exeter, has the sea in his blood and a gift for finding his way by the stars. Jim Glover, once a railway clerk in Manchester, is a strong swimmer and a quiet optimist. Bob Jones from Cardiff Docks knows boats like most men know their own hands. Jack Hargreaves, a Norwich schoolteacher, is the kind who leads by listening first. George Smith, called Geordie, learned to weld ships in Newcastle. He can fix anything and break it too. Sam Brown, a taxi driver from Brighton, brings stamina and quick reflexes honed on city streets. 10 men, 10 ordinary lives, now bound together by a single, impossible task. They come from every corner of Britain, city, port, farm, factory. Some write letters home, others keep their fears to themselves. All are ready to vanish into the Scottish cold, to train for a mission most would refuse. Their names are entered into a ledger, their faces memorized by Hasler. Soon, the real test begins. The Scottish winter does not forgive weakness. Hasler's chosen 10 find themselves on the shore of a cold, black loch, far from the warmth of home. The training is secret, relentless, and unlike anything in the Royal Marines manual. Every morning the men slip into the freezing water, breath steaming, muscles aching, hands numbed to the bone. They paddle until arms burn and lungs feel ready to burst. Then Hasler demands more. Night after night, the drills run on, with navigation by the faintest star, silent movement in inky darkness, and the discipline to vanish at a whisper. Mistakes mean capsizing, or worse. At the heart of it all is the Cockle Mark II canoe, 5 feet 10 inches long, barely wide enough for 2 men and a cargo of limpet mines. Marine-grade plywood, canvas stretched tight, weighing just 45 pounds. Folded, it hides in a kit bag. Opened, it becomes the only hope these men have of reaching Bordeaux alive. There is no margin for error. The cockle is light, fast, and unforgiving. A wrong shift of weight, a sudden gust, and the river will claim the unwary. Hasler drills them in righting a swamped canoe, in patching torn canvas, in paddling through surf and against the river's pull. Each man learns the limits of the craft and of himself. The nights grow colder, the drills harder. Endurance is tested in icy water, breath held through pain and exhaustion. Hasler leads by example, never asking what he will not do himself. When dawn breaks, the men are shivering, soaked and silent. But they are ready. 10 men, 5 canoes. Soon, the real journey will begin. Night, December 7th, 1942. HMS Tuna surfaces off the Gironde, its black hull rocking in the Atlantic swell. The order is given. 10 men, 5 canoes, each one a Cockle Mark II, plywood and canvas, barely more than a shadow on the water. The hatch is open. The canoes are heaved onto the slick deck, hands numb, breath steaming in the salt air. The sea is not calm. Waves slap the hull, wind cuts through oilskins, and every movement is watched by the German coast. There is no turning back. One by one, the teams lower their canoes into the freezing surf. But the river mouth is treacherous, a tangle of sandbanks and swirling currents. In the darkness, a rogue wave strikes. Canoe number 2 capsizes, pitching Clark and Glover into the black water. They fight to right the craft, but the tide is merciless. The canoe is lost. 2 men, shivering and soaked, are hauled back aboard Tuna. They will not paddle for Bordeaux. 10 men become 8. 5 canoes become 4. The countdown begins. The remaining canoes slip away, paddles biting into the icy current. Each stroke is a battle against exhaustion and fear. The Gironde stretches ahead, a twisting, hostile artery 70 miles long. For 5 nights, the men paddle in silence, hugging the reeds by day, moving only when the moon is hidden. German patrol boats sweep the river. Spotlights slice the darkness. Every shadow could mean discovery. On the second night, tragedy strikes again. Clark, a strong swimmer with a steady hand, slips from his canoe. The cold claims him before help can reach him. 8 become 7, then 6. Glover, weakened by exposure, cannot go on. He is left behind, captured before the raid even begins. Now only 4 men remain: Hasler, Sparks, Laver, Mills. 2 canoes. The original force is whittled down by river and cold, not by enemy fire. The odds, already impossible, narrow with every mile. 5 nights, 90 miles. 4 men left to reach Bordeaux. The mission hangs by a thread, but the canoes press on, silent and unseen, toward the heart of occupied France. Bordeaux harbor, silent, black and cold. 4 men, 2 canoes. The city sleeps under the boots of German guards, but beneath the hulls, British hands move with quiet precision. Hasler and Sparks are in one canoe. Laver and Mills are in the other. 4 shadows, each carrying the weight of every lost comrade. They drift among giants, blockade runners, tankers and cargo ships. 8 targets are moored in the dark. Each canoe holds 7 limpets, squat, steel, deadly. 14 chances to change the war. The men split the load, each knowing exactly where to go. There is no room for error. Every second counts. They work in silence. Limpet mines are drawn from oilcloth wraps, cold metal against colder water. The mines are British-made, fitted with powerful magnets and a timing fuse. Each one clamps tight to the hull with a dull, heavy click. The fuse is set, hours, not minutes, enough time to slip away before the blast. A sponge muffles the sound. Every movement was planned in training on the Scottish Loch, now repeated under the noses of the enemy. Hasler and Sparks take the starboard side, Laver and Mills the port. They move from ship to ship, working by feel and memory, counting off the targets. 14 mines, 8 ships. The last charge set, the last fuse ticking. The canoes push off, vanishing into the shadows. The river is still. The city above has no idea what waits below. No alarms, no shouts, only the quiet certainty that, come morning, Bordeaux will wake to fire and water and chaos. The job is done. 4 men slip away into darkness, leaving behind a harbor seeded with destruction. The canoes slip away from the ships, paddles barely breaking the water, 4 shadows hugging the edge of the docks. The city above is silent, the harbor below seeded with destruction. But the danger is not past. Every second on the water risks discovery. German sentries patrol the quays, searchlights sweep the river. Any noise, any ripple in the wrong place could mean a bullet in the dark. Hasler gives the signal. There is no time to linger. The cockles, lifelines until now, must vanish. The men haul their canoes into the reeds, hands shaking from cold and exhaustion. Each canoe is scuttled, slashed, and sunk into the mud. No trace left for the Germans to find. If the enemy discovers a British craft, the alarm will go up before the mines can do their work. The mission will die in the cradle. So the canoes are sacrificed, one after another, disappearing into the black water with barely a sound. Only limpets remain, fuses ticking down beneath the hulls of enemy ships. Now, on foot, Hasler and Sparks lead the way along the riverbank. Laver and Mills follow, every step further from safety, every shadow a threat. There is no map, only memory and instinct. The men melt into the darkness, hunted but unseen, hearts hammering in their chests. Behind them, the harbor waits. The city sleeps. 4 men move through the night, knowing the smallest mistake will mean capture or death. In the hush before the storm, the fragility of the mission hangs in the air. The mines are set. The canoes are gone. All that remains is silence, and the hope that morning will bring chaos to Bordeaux. Dawn breaks over Bordeaux. The harbor, so carefully guarded, erupts into chaos. Explosions rip through the stillness, one after another, deep and shuddering, echoing off the stone quays. Flames leap from the waterline of the Tannenfels, a blockade runner now split open by steel and fire. Cargo holds flood, decks buckle, and smoke pours into the morning sky. Men on the docks scatter, shouting orders, searching for saboteurs who are already gone. German sailors scramble to cut mooring lines, trying to save the stricken vessels as alarms wail across the port. 8 ships have been struck. The Tannenfels is lost, sunk at her berth. The München, holed and burning, lists against the quay. 3 more, the Mora, Comet and Bordeaux, are crippled, their hulls torn, engines silenced. German harbor logs record the damage. 2 ships sunk, 3 out of action for months, 3 more limping but afloat. 6 sailors dead, 20 wounded. The flow of rubber, oil, tin has stopped cold. Within hours, the Gestapo and Feldgendarmerie descend. Barricades go up. Dock workers are interrogated, passes checked, curfews enforced. Patrol boats sweep the river, every shadow now suspect. Bordeaux, once untouchable, is locked down. The shock travels up the German chain of command. Orders fly from Berlin, find the saboteurs at any cost. The harbor is aflame. The hunt has begun. On the banks of the Gironde, the 4 survivors become 2 pairs, each forced to vanish into the French countryside. Their canoes are gone, uniforms soaked, nerves stretched thin. The Germans are everywhere. Roadblocks, patrols, searchlights stabbing the morning fog. For Hassler and Sparks, survival means movement, silence, and the kindness of strangers. For Laver and Mills, luck runs out. They are caught near a railway line outside Bordeaux, hands bound, boots caked with mud. Interrogation offers no mercy. Under Hitler's commando order, there is no trial, no appeal. On the 23rd of March 1943, months after the raid, both men are shot, executed as saboteurs, not soldiers. Their families receive word long after the fact, a line in a telegram where a life once stood. Yet the story does not end in darkness. French civilians, cafe owners, farmers, railwaymen risk everything to shelter the remaining commandos. The Pat O'Leary line, a lifeline of forged papers and whispered directions, guides Hassler and Sparks through occupied France. Each night brings a new hiding place, each dawn a new danger. The Pyrenees loom ahead, snow, wind, the promise of Spain, and beyond that, home. Footsore and half-starved, they cross the mountains with the help of men and women who ask for nothing in return. Of the 10 who launched from HMS Tuna, only Hassler and Sparks reach England again. The others, dead, captured or missing, are remembered in silence and stone. 2 men come home, 6 are gone. And yet, in every act of defiance, every risk taken by the French, the true cost and meaning of Operation Frankton endures. 10 men, 5 canoes, a river that still runs silent, past memorial stones few pause to read. Yet every covert strike, every act of resistance reminds us the scale of sacrifice is never measured in numbers alone. In a world where small teams still tip the balance, courage leaves a mark, sometimes invisible, always enduring. The Cockleshell Heroes, never forgotten. Share your thoughts below.